Mantare79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days. Alrighty then, let's get started. Pressing the A button now. Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu, off to edit deck menu. And now in today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be making one for is a D standard formats. Dragon Empires, Dragonic Overlord D end with cards from D-BT09. Alrighty, let's begin. So going to selecting the deck here, entering edit deck, and off we go. And here we are in the edit deck menu. And like I just mentioned before, the deck I'm building today's deck profile video is a Dragon Empires, Dragonic Overlord DN deck, made up of cards only available up until D-BT09. Okie dokie, let's get started. So first to the filter settings and to pack, show only cards from D-BT1, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-BT2, A Brush of the Legends, D-BT3, Advance of Intertwined Stars, D-BT4, Awakening of Chakrabarti, D-BT5, Triumphant Return of Brave Heroes, Festival Collection 2021, Festival Collection 2022, Promo Pack number 1, and then D-BT6, Blazing Dragon Reborn, D-BT7, Raging Flame Against the Emerald Storm, D-BT8, Minerva Rising, and D-BT9, Dragon Tree Invasion. Pack selected, applying filter, and filters applied. Alright, so let's get started with the deck build. First, let's go to the deck's Grade 3 lineup. And now, for the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, Grade 3, Dragonic Overlord The End. Skills, first skill, continuous as a Vanguard. During your turn, if your soul has a Dragonic Overlord, this unit's drive cannot decrease from card effects and it gets plus 5,000 power. Second skill, auto as a Vanguard, once per turn. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked, cost, counterblast 1 and discard 2 cards from hand. If the cost when paid, stand this unit and it gets drive -1 until end of turn. So for Dragonic Overlord The End, it's the main Grade 3 to ride in this deck. Its skill is the first skill. As long as the conditions of the first skill are met, not only does your Vanguard's drive check become protected from being reduced, but you can also always get plus 5,000 power when it's your turn. And the second skill, after attacking, by paying the cost, you can restand your Vanguard for another attack. The only downside is it gets drive -1 after attacking, but as long as you fulfilled the first skill's conditions, the second skill's negative effect is more or less removed, thereby making sure you'll always have a Vanguard who can attack twice with twin drives for each attack. And affirmative, the Grade 3 Dragonic Overlord The End. We have 4 in the deck, 1 in the right deck, 3 in the main deck. Next up, the Grade 3 Dragonic Overlord. Skills, first skill, continuous as a Vanguard or rear guard. During the battle, this unit attacks a rear guard. Your opponent cannot call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle. Second skill, auto as a Vanguard, once per turn. When this unit attack hits, cost, counterblast 1 and discard 1 card from hand. If the cost when paid, stand this unit and it gets drive -1 until end of turn. So for Dragonic Overlord, it's one of the main Grade 3s to play in this deck. Its skill is the first skill. Whenever it attacks an opponent's rear guard, your opponent cannot protect that rear guard cards from hand, thereby making the attack almost unstoppable. And the second skill, after your Vanguard Overlord attacks hits on either an opponent's Vanguard or rear guard, by paying the cost, you can restand your Vanguard Overlord for another attack. And okie dokie, the Grade 3 Dragonic Overlord. We have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 3 Normal Order Gradia Gradel. Skills, first skill, continuous. Regulus piece, you may only have 1 Regulus piece in your deck and use it a total of 1 time in the fight. Second skill, order. Play this with if you have a Grade 3 Vanguard Persona Ride and you did not ride this turn, activate Persona Ride. Draw a card. All of your front row units gets plus 10,000 power this turn, and you are regarded to have Persona Road. So for Gradia Gradale, a very powerful order to play in pretty much any D standard format deck. Its skill, by activating this order card, you can initiate Persona riding without having to ride at all, thereby increasing your hand size by drawing 1 card and giving you more power to work with by giving your front row plus 10,000 power, and also any skills that require your Vanguard to have Persona Road. This orders affect or more or less treat your Vanguard as having already Persona Road. And okay, the Grade 3 normal order, Gradia Gradel, we have 1 in the deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 3 lineup. Next up, the Grade 2 lineup. And now for the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s in this deck, we are playing the Ride deck, Grade 2, Dragonic Overlord. Skills, first skill, auto. When this unit is rode upon by a unit with Overlord in its card name, call this card to rearguard circle. Second skill, action is a rear guard once per turn. If you have a Vanguard of Overlord in its card name, cost Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, this unit and all of your Vanguards gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Nehalem, it's the main Grade 2 to ride this deck. Its skills, the first skill, when ridden on top buff by an Overlord, you can then superior call Nehalem from your soul to the rear guard to serve as a potential front row attacker or a rear guard whose skill which you wish to take advantage of later in the game. Second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met and you pay the cost, you can then power up not only your Nehalem but even your Vanguard, thus turning your Dragonic Nehalem into a potential 15,000 point attacker for the front row, and also to give your Vanguard a little extra power to work with. And okie dokie, the Grade 2 Dragonic Nehalem, we have 1 in the right deck. Next up, the Grade 2 Steel Bull of Duststorm, Ethan. Skill, auto is a rear guard. When your Vanguard's attack hits, cost, retire this unit. If the cost is paid, draw a card and countercharge 1. So for Ethan, a pretty good card to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks with skill. Whenever your Vanguard lands a successful attack on either an opponent's Vanguard or rear guard by paying the cost, not only do you get to draw more cards, but you can also refund your counterblast for later skills. And affirmative, the Grade 2 Steel Bull of Duststorm, Ethan. We have 3 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 2 Burning Horn Dragon. Skills, first skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the rear guard, cost, counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 card of Overlord in its card name and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. If you do not reveal a card, countercharge 1. Second skill, auto as a rear guard. When your Vanguard of Overlord in its card name attacks, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Burning Horn Dragon, a support card for the Overlord series, if its skills, the first skill, when calling it to the rear guard and paying the cost, you have the chance to check the top cards of your deck for an Overlord to add to your hand to aid in your later game strategy. And the best part about this first skill, it's refundable. In the off chance you fail to get any Overlords of this skill, you can then countercharge 1, thus refunding the counterblast you paid for the first skill. And the second skill, while you have Burning Horn the rear guard, whenever your Vanguard Overlord attacks, you can then give power to your Burning Horn Dragon, thus letting this second skill be a good way to give power to Burning Horn to make it a powerful front row attacker. And the best part about the second skill, it's stackable. For the Overlord series, specializes in restanding and attacking multiple times your Vanguard. As long as you can restand and attack multiple times your Vanguard Overlord, you can continue to stack power to your Burning Horn Dragon, making it a good front row attacker to either to pressure or finish off your opponent with. And confirm, the Grade 2 Burning Horn Dragon. We have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 2 Alder Hatchet Dragon. Skills, first skill, continuous as a Guardian. If your soul has a card of Overlord in its card name, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. Second skill, action is a rear guard. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, cost, retire this unit. If the cost is paid, choose a Grade 3 card of Overlord in its card name from your drop and put it into your soul. So for Alder Hatchet Dragon, another support card for the Overlord series, if its skill is the first skill, when used to guard with, as long as the conditions of the first skill are met, your Alder Hatchet Dragon then can serve as a potential 10,000 point shield all on its own. Second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met and you pay the cost, you can then not only restock your soul for later Soul Blast, but you can also secure a classic Overlord to make it easier to fulfill the conditions of Dragonic Overlord the end skill. And alright, the Grade 2 Alder Hatchet Dragon, we have 4 in the deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 2 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Grade 1 lineup. And now, for the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s in this deck, we are playing Ride deck, Grade 1, Embodiment of Armor Bar. Skills, first skill, auto. When this unit is rolled upon by Dragonic Overlord, cost, counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, search your deck for up to one Great 1 card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Second skill, auto, is a rear guard once per turn. When your Vanguard's attack hits, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Bar, it's the main Great 1 to ride this deck. Its skill is the first skill. When ridden on top of by Dragonic Overlord, by paying the cost, you can then search your deck for any Great 1 card to secure to your hand for your later game strategy. And the second skill, while having Bar in the rear guard, whenever your Vanguard lands a successful attack on either an opponent's Vanguard or rear guard, you can then turn your Bar into a potential 13,000 point attacker for your front row or a 13,000 point booster for your back row. And alrighty, the Great 1 embodiment of armor Bar, we have 1 in the ride deck. Next up, the Great 1 Twin Buckler Dragon. Sentinel, perfect guard. Skills, first skill, continuous sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards of continuous sentinel in a deck. Second skill, auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units and it cannot be hit until end of battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So for Twin Buckler Dragon, it's a perfect guard for the Dragon Empire Nation. Like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When used to guard with and discarding 1 card from hand, you can block an enemy attack. But it also features an ability unique to all D standard form perfect guards. When used to guard with while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, thus making Twin Buckler Dragon a potential no-cost perfect guard in desperate last resort situations. Okie dokie, the Great 1 Twin Buckler Dragon, we have 3 in the deck. Next up, the Great 1 Blitz Order Elementaria Sanctitude. Skills, first skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards of Continuous Sentinel in a deck. Second skill, Continuous. You may only have 1 Elementaria Sanctitude in the deck. Third skill, Order. If your opponent's Vanguard has triple drive, this ability can be played without paying the cost. Play this if it costs of, discard a card from your hand if your Vanguard is grade 3 or less. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. Remove this card. So for Elementaria Sanctitude, it's the Blitz Order version of the Perfect Guard. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When played, by paying the cost, you can then block 1 enemy attack. But ideally, Elementaria Sanctitude works best against opponents who play decks that specialize in having a Vanguard with triple drive. For example, grade 4s or Vanguards who have their drive checks increased by skill or card effect. Against such opponents, your Elementaria Sanctitude then can serve as a potential no-cost perfect guard. And affirmative, the Great 1 Elementaria Sanctitude, we have 1 in the deck. Next up, the Great 1 Stealth Dragon Togachi Rashi. Skill, auto. When this card is discarded from hand during your turn, you may put this card into your soul. So for Togachi Rashi, another good card to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks if it's skill. When discarded during your turn, you can then secure Togachi Rashi from instead into your soul, thus giving you more cards to Soul Blast with later in the game. So for the Great 1 Stealth Dragon Togachi Rashi, we have 2 in the deck. Next up, the Great 1 Winged Dragon Pursue Terra. Skills, first skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit boosts, cost, Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, choose a unit boosted by this unit, and it gets auto as a Vanguard or rear guard. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it until end of turn. So for Pursue Terra, a pretty good card to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks if it's skill. When boosting and when paying the cost, you can then give the boosted unit the skill of whenever it lands a successful attack on your opponent's Vanguard, you can also get the additional bonus of retiring rear guards. Thus, if you play a deck that specializes in attacking multiple times your Vanguard, for example, Overlords, you can then retire 1 rear guard for every successful attack your Vanguard makes. And confirm, the Great 1 Winged Dragon Pursue Terra. We have 2 in the deck. And next up, the Great 1 Drag Ritter Hall. Skills, first skill, continuous. When this card will be discarded from hand for the cost of the ability of your Vanguard of Overlord in its card name, it may be regarded as discarding 2 cards. Second skill, auto. When this card is discarded from hand for the cost of the ability of your Vanguard of Overlord in its card name, you may call this card to a back row rear guard circle. If you call, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Dragrider Halp, a support card for the Overlord series. With its skills, the first skill, whenever you would discard Halp from your hand for the cost of a Vanguard Overlord, Halp himself can then be treated as 2 cards. So any Vanguard Overlord skill that wishes you to discard 2 or more cards, Halp can then reduce the hand cost by using his first skill. And the second skill, whenever Halp is discarded from your hand for the cost of your Vanguard Overlord skill, you can then have the chance to superior call Halp from your drop zone to the back row rearguard circle to serve as a potential 13,000 point booster for the back row. And okay, the great one, Dragrider Halp, we have 3 in the deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's Great 1 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Great 0 lineup. And now, for the Great 0 lineup. For the Great Zeros in this deck, we are playing Right Deck, Great 0, Lizard Runner Undo. Skill, Auto. When this unit is rolled upon, if you went second, draw a card. So for Undo, it's the starting unit's deck, and like any other starting unit in the D standard format, it features the same skill and activation. When written on the top of, if you're the second to go, draw 1 card. And alright, the Great 0, Lizard Runner Undo, we have 1 in the right deck. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Great 0 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Trigger lineup. And now, for the deck's Trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we are playing the Great 0, Dragon DD King Resurgence, Dragvita, Overtrigger. Skill, trigger, additional effect. Choose one of your Vanguards and restand it. So for Dragvita, it's the Overtrigger for the Dragon Empire Nation. Like any other Overtrigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When revealed during a drive check or a damage check, you get 100 million power and draw a card. But he also features an ability unique to him alone. When revealed during a drive check during your turn, you can restand your Vanguard for another attack. And okie dokie, the Great 0, Dragon DD King Resurgence, Dragvita, Overtrigger. We have 1 in the deck. Next up, the Great 0, Burning Flail Dragon, Critical Trigger, Skill, Auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost is paid, choose one of the units, and it gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Burning Flail Dragon, a powerful critical trigger to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks with its skill. After boosting an attack, regardless if the attack hits or not only do you get to build up your soul for later Soul Blast, but you can also give a little extra power to your remaining attackers in the field, Vanguard or Rear Guard. And affirmative, the Great 0, Burning Flail Dragon, we have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Great 0, Blaze War Monk, Soulgill, Critical Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Great 0, Draw Trigger, Flarebill Dragon. Skill, continuous as a Guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Flarebill Dragon, a powerful draw trigger to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks with skill. When used to guard with while the conditions of the skill are met, your Flarebill then can serve as a potential 10,000 point shield on the zone. And alright, the Great 0, Flarebill Dragon, draw trigger, we have 3 in the deck. Next up, the Great 2, Stealth Fiend Amavira, heal trigger, skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, if your opponent's attacking unit has attacked 2 or more times this turn, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. So for Amavira, a powerful heal trigger to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks with her skill. When used to guard with while the conditions of the skill are met, you can then turn your Amavira into a potential 25,000 point shield on her own. Ideally, Amavira is a counter heal, best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in restanding their units for additional attacks, Vanguard or Rearguard. And okie dokie, the Great 0, Stealth Fiend Amavira, heal trigger, we have 2 in the deck. And next up, the Great 0, Cure Flare Draco Kid, heal trigger, skill, auto. When this unit is put on the Guardian Circle, if the attacking unit's critical is 2 or greater, and its critical is increased by a non-trigger effect ability, or its original critical is 2 or greater, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. So for Cure Flare Draco Kid, another powerful heal trigger to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks. If its skill, when used to guard with while the conditions of the skill are met, you can then turn your Cure Flare Draco Kid into a potential 25,000 point shield on his own. Ideally, Cure Flare Draco Kid is a counter heal best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in increasing their attacking units' critical, Vanguard, or rear guard by skill or card effect. And affirmative, the Grade 0 Pure Flare Draco Kid heal trigger. We have 2 in the deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's build and card effects. Next, let's get on to... And that, the deck has been built, card effects explained. For the cards in this deck, we are playing 4 Grade 3 Dragonic Overlord, 4 Grade 3 Dragonic Overlord The End, 1 Grade 3 Normal Order Gradia Gradel, and then 1 Grade 2 Dragon Knight Nihon, 3 Grade 2 Steel Blood Duststorm Ethan, 4 Grade 2 Burning Horn Dragon, 4 Grade 2 Ardor Hatchet Dragon, 3 Grade 1 Twin Buckler Dragon, 1 Grade 1 Blitz Order Elementaria Sanctitude, 2 Grade 1 Stealth Dragon Togachirachi, 1 Grade 1 Embodiment of Armor Bar, 2 Grade 1 Winged Dragon Pursue Terra, 3 Grade 1 Drag Ritter Hall, 1 Grade 0 Lizard Runner Undo Starting Unit. And for the triggers in this deck, we are playing 1 Over Trigger Drag Vita, 8 critical triggers, 3 draw triggers, and 4 heal triggers. And if that deck built, cards explained, now it's time to test out the deck. And here we are, back in the main menu. Now it's time to get on to testing out the deck, so let's go over here to the fight menu, going to CPU fight, selecting the deck I just displayed, the Dragon Empires, Dragonic Overlord DN, D-BT09 deck, and okie dokie, selecting the deck, and now choosing an opponent. Let's see, for the opponent I'm gonna test it out on, I guess I'll use it against Haru Shinagawa, normal difficulty, and click. And the battle begins. Let's get started. Here we are in the fight, deciding who goes first, so rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper to scissors, I lose going second. Already? Let's see, for our starting hands, I got a Twin Buckler Dragon at the end and 3 critical triggers. And it's a pretty tough hand to start with, so holding on to the Persona Ride, we're sending back the Perfect Guard and all trigger units, redraw. Yes, Ardor Hatchet Dragon, Pursue Terra, a heal trigger, and an Overlord. Great starting hands. My opponent rides to the Grade 1 Thegria. Now it's my turn. I draw. I drew a critical trigger, alright. I'm gonna ride from the right deck, Embodiment of Armor Bar. For the right deck cost, let's see, I have Ardor Hatchet Dragon, so discarding Dragonic Overlord from my hand to ride. Embodiment of Armor Bar. Lizard Runner Undo skill. Drawing 1 card and draw. Yes, a perfect guard. Great draw. Next, I'm calling Winged Dragon Pursue Terra to the center column, behind my Vanguard. That should be enough. On to the battle phase. Boosted by Pursue Terra. Bar attacks the Vanguard, 16,000 power. Not gonna activate Pursue Terra's skill yet, so the attack goes through. Drive check. Draw trigger, nice. And draw. I drew a Drag Ritter Howl, another good draw, giving power to Vanguard. And 1 damage to the opponent. Slash. Damage check. Draw trigger, she got a lucky trigger. Powering up and drawing, so that's the end of my turn. Now it's my opponent's turn. My opponent's riding to the Grade 2 Heart-Trading Thegria. Skill to Grade 1. Revealing Painkiller Angel. And Superior Call as rest. And calling Drilling Angel, Nanaful, and K. A full formation this early. Alrighty, so I think I'm first gonna let the first attack go through. We'll see how the rest goes. No guard. Here it comes. Ow. Damage check. No trigger. Burning Horn. Lost a good card. Here comes Nanaful. No guard again. Gonna take it. Drive check. No trigger. Another Drilling Angel. Safe, so 1 damage. Here it comes. Ow. Damage check. Yes! Draw trigger. Just what I needed. I draw a card. And I drew another Pursue Terra. Interesting. 18k to the Vanguard from Nanaful. So 5k to block it. I'm blocking it with. I already have Pursue Terra in the center column. I don't need this extra copy, so I'll guard with Pursue Terra. Guard! 23k. Attack blocked. And ka-chink! Safe! That's the end of my opponent's turn. My turn. Stand and draw. I ride from the right deck. Dragonite Nehalem. For the right deck cost, I'm discarding a draw trigger, Flare Veil. Discard and ride. Dragonite Nehalem. Skill of Bar. Counterblast 1. Counterblast and search my deck for a Grade 1. I'm adding Stealth Dragon Togachirashi to my hand. There we go. That ought to do it, so nothing else to call, so going straight to battle phase. Boosted by Pursue Terra, Nehalem attacks the Vanguard, 18k. I activate Pursue Terra's skill, Soul Blast 1, Soul Blast, giving my Vanguard a skill. The attack goes through, drive check. Yes, heal trigger, lucky. I heal 1 point of damage, healing, and power the Vanguard. Lucky draw for me. And here it comes, 1 damage to the opponent. And Pierce. Damage check. No trigger, alright. And now here comes the skill that Nehalem received from Pursue Terra. I can retire 1 rear guard. I'm retiring, let's see. I'm gonna retire Painkiller Angel, retire. And that's the end of my turn, my opponent's turn. My opponent's riding. Here it comes, the Great 3. One who walks the path of light, Tigria. Skill of the Grade 2 and revealing the Grade 3 black one who blooms the dark Tigria. Vanguard skill. Counterblast and Superior Call. Another Painkiller. Rear guard to Vanguard. That's 18k. Alright, so no guard, gonna take it. Here it comes. Ow! Damage check. Yes! Critical trigger! Lucky! I give all effects to the Vanguard. Critical up and power up. Now here comes the Vanguard, 13k, 1 trigger to pass. I better not risk it. I guard with Stealth Fiend Tamari Hime. Guard! Skill activated, plus another 10,000 shield. And now that's 40k to the Vanguard. Over trigger to pass. And Twin Drive for check. Heal trigger, lucky. She healed back to 1 damage and powering up her rear guard. Skill of the rear guard, but second check. Critical trigger, another lucky draw. Powering all up as well. This is not good, so the attack is still blocked. Ka-chink! Now here comes 1 attack from Drilling Angel, boosted by Painkiller. 38k to my 20k, that's, let's see, that's 20k to guard, so I guard with 2 Rionis, 50k, guard! That ought to be enough, and block! Ka-chink! Safe! That was a close one. And here comes Painkiller's skill, she Soul Blast, retires, and draws. And that's the end of their turn. My turn. Stand and draw. Yes, Burning Horn. I ride from the right deck. Dragonic Overlord, the end. For the right deck cost, I'm discarding Togachirashi. Discard and ride. Dragonic Overlord, the end. First, I activate Togachirashi's skill. Since its skill lets me move from the drop zone into the soul. Then Nehalem's skill. Superior Call from the soul to the rear guard. And call. I activate Nehalem's skill. I Soul Blast Togachirashi and give 5,000 power to himself and Overlord. Looking good. Next, I call Ardor Hatchet Dragon to the rear guard. Call Ardor Hatchet skill. Retire it and search my drop zone for an Overlord and move it to the soul. Overlord entered the soul and power up the Vanguard. Drive cannot be reduced. Next, I'm calling Burning Horn Dragon to the rear guard. Call Burning Horn skill. Counterblast 1, Counterblast, and search the top 7 cards on my deck for an Overlord. I got 2 classics. Alright, adding 1 classic Overlord to hand and shuffle. Then next, I'm gonna move Nehalem to the back and call Dragonic Overlord. That should be enough. Now, on to battle phase. First up, my rearguard Overlord attacks the Vanguard, 13k. Intercepting with Nanofold, 18k, it's blocked. And now, boosted by Pursue Terra, my DN attacks the Vanguard. Pursue Terra skill, Soul Blast 1, Soul Blasting Bar, and here we go, giving my Vanguard a skill. Now Burning Horn skill, plus 5,000 power. Power up, and the attack goes through. Twin Drive, first check. No trigger, perfect guard, not a bad draw. Second check. Gradia Gredel, Persona Right material, sweet. Already, 1 damage to the opponent, and bang, 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 slash, 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 cut, burn, and check. Ah, heal trigger, lucky. Cannot heal, but powers up, not good. Alright, activating the end skill. Retiring 1 rear guard. I retire Drilling Angel. Now the end skill. Counterblast 1, Counterblast, and discard 2 cards. I discard Drag Ritter Hall. Count as 2 cards, and the end skill activates. Restand my Vanguard. Restanding and activating Drag Ritter Hall skill. Superior call from the drop zone to the rear guard. I'm calling it behind Burning Horn Dragon, plus 5,000 power. Still, I think I can make this work. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 23k. Burning Horn skill, plus 5,000 power. And the attack still goes through. Twin Drive, first check. No trigger, another Burning Horn, not too bad. Second check. Another Overlord, no triggers again, but no worries. Here it comes, 1 more successful attack from my Vanguard. Bang, 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 slash, 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 burn, and damage check. Ah, another heal trigger, come on! Powers up and healing, so lucky. But whatever, activating Pursue Terra skill, retiring 1 more rear guard. I retire K. And for the final attack of the turn, boosted by Hall, Burning Horn attacks the Vanguard, 33,000 power. The attack goes through, and boom! 1 more damage. Damage check. No trigger, Bedivere. 1 less card to worry about. That's the end of my turn. Now it's my opponent's turn. My opponent, Persona Rides. Here it comes. Dark Tigria. I was expecting that card. And calling to the rear guard. Getos and Bedivere. Bedivere skill, superior calling from the deck. 1k. This is gonna be rough. Skill of the Vanguard. Retiring her own rear guards to retire my own. No, Nehalem and Overlord are gone. The Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. No guard, gonna take it. Twin Drive, first check. No trigger, great 1. Second check. No trigger, Painkiller, safe, so just 1 damage. Here it comes. Fire rings down and out. Damage check. Yes, critical trigger, lucky. I give all effects to my Vanguard. Power up and critical up. Skill of Dark Tigria, she's gonna pay the cost and restand the Vanguard. Tigria attacks the Vanguard again, so I better not risk it. Perfect guarding with Twin Buckler Dragon, perfect guard. For the perfect guard cost, let's see. I have the end in my hand, so and a Burning Horn as well, so I guess I can afford to give up Gradia Gredel, discard, and perfect guard activated. Drive check from my opponent. No trigger, Drilling Angel, and... Ka-chink! Safe! Now one more attack from the rear guard this time. From the rear guard, Gatus to my Vanguard, 23k. 5k to block it. I should get one more counter blast to activate Burning Horn skill as well, so no guard, gonna take it.
No guard.
Ow! Damage check. No trigger, Burning Horn. Another good card lost. End of my opponent's turn, my turn, stand and draw. Yes, I got an Ethan. I'm gonna Persona Ride Dragonic Overlord the end. Here it goes. Persona Ride! Dragonic Overlord the end. Power up and draw. Yes, Arter Hatchet Dragon. Now I'm gonna call Burning Horn Dragon to the rear guard. Call. Burning Horn skill. Counter Blast. Counter Blast 1 and check the top 7 cards of my deck. I got... nothing. Counter Charging. What a waste. Fine, whatever. I'm gonna call to the rear guard. Steel Bull of Duststorm Ethan. Call. That should be enough for my main phase. Now let's get to the battle phase. Boosted by Scout Terra, Pursue Terra. The end attacks the Vanguard, 36k. And Pursue Terra skill, Soul Blast 1. I Soul Blast the end and give my Vanguard a skill. Burning Horn skill, plus 5,000 power. And the other Burning Horn, the same skill, another 5,000 power. The attack goes through, Twin Drive, first check. No trigger, yes, Drag Rare Halb, lucky, second check. The end, alright, Persona Ride for the next turn. The attack goes through, and here goes. Bang, 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 slash, 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 burn. Damage check for the opponent. No trigger, safe. And now, Pursue first Ethan skill. Self-retreat, and draw and counter charge. I draw a... Draw trigger, not good. Counter charging 1. And here comes Pursue Terra skill. Retiring 1 rear guard. And the end skill. Counterblast 1, counterblast and discarding Drag Rare Halb. Count as 2 cards. Discard and here we go. The end skill. Restanding my Vanguard. And Halb skill. Superior call from the drop zone to the rear guard. Calling it over here. Plus 5,000 power. Now the end attacks the Vanguard, 28k. Burning Horn skill on the left, plus 5,000 power again. And on the right, another 5,000 power. Powering up, and my opponent double guards, that's 43k, 2 to pass. Twin Drive, first check. No trigger, Overlord. Second check. No trigger, Arter Hatchet Dragon. No triggers, but I got more cards in hand, more defensive options, so... Boosted by Halb on the left. Burning Horn on the left attacks the Vanguard, 38k. The attack goes through, and boom! 1 damage. Damage check. No trigger, order card, safe. 1 less card to worry about. And now for the final attack of the turn. Boosted by Halb. Burning Horn on the right attacks the Vanguard, 43k. Perfect guard, For a perfect guard cost, discarding a... Fasciata. The attack fails, but... Now that's the end of my turn. It's my opponent's turn. Persona Ride again. Persona Riding to the light Thegria. Skill Thegria, she's gonna counterblast and Superior Call 2 rear guards, Fasciata and Nanaful. Activating the order card, the Hour of Holy Judgment cometh. Let's see, draw 2 cards and power up 1 unit. Drawing 2 cards and the power up goes to the Vanguard. Calling and Drilling Angel skill. Superior Call, Painkiller, lucky. Nanaful to the front and Nanaful attacks the Vanguard. No guard, gonna take it. Here it comes. Ow. Damage check. Yes! Over trigger! Lucky! 100 million power to the Vanguard. Draw a card. I drew it. Ethan. 20k to the rear guard. Nope, that's 28k. So, guard and... Guard! Guarding with Ethan and Burning Flood Dragon, protecting Burning Horn. You're welcome. Safe! Now, one attack from the Vanguard, 28k. I guard with Ardor Hatchet Dragon, Burning Flail Dragon, and Ardor Hatchet Dragon. Guard, triple! Plus 5,000 shield for each card, 40k. One trigger to pass. Twin Drive first check. No trigger. Safe. And second check. Ah, draw trigger. Lucky. The attack goes through in the end. I'm sorry, Burning Horn. Not a full skill. And Fasciata skill. Counter charge. And Burning Horn is gone. Sorry. That's the Here Comes Painkiller skill. Retire and draw. Ah, what a huge hand. 10 cards in hand. Alright, my turn. Stand and draw. Ah, critical trigger. Come on. Fine, whatever. It's time to Persona Ride again. Here we go. Persona Riding. Dragonic Overlord, the end. Power up and draw. I drew, yes, the end. Another Persona Ride. I call Dragonic Overlord to the rear guard. Call. That ought to do it. So, on to battle phase. First, the end unboosted attacks the Vanguard, 28k, Burning Horn skill, plus 5,000 power. My opponent, double guards, 43k, to the pass, Twin Drive, first check. No trigger, Ardor Hatchet Dragon, not a bad draw, second check. And Ethan, again, not a bad draw, the attack fails, but no worries. Now here it comes. The end skill. Counterblast 1. Counterblast N. Discarding Overlord and Ethan. Restanding my Vanguard the end. Here we go. Now boosted by Pursue Terra. The end attacks the Vanguard. 36k. Burning Horn skill plus 5,000 power. Powering up, and I'm not gonna activate Pursue Terra's skill this time. Ah, perfect guard, come on! Perfect guard, discarding a order card from hand. Alrighty, Twin Drive, first check. Yes, critical trigger, just what I needed. I give the power to, let's see, the rear guard Overlord. Here we go. Power up and critical up. And second check. Yes, a heal trigger! Cannot heal, but I give the power to, let's see, Burning Horn Dragon, power up! The attack fails, but I got 2 powerful attacks in the way, so let's try boosted by Hald. Dragonic Overlord attacks the Vanguard, 41,000 power, 2 criticals. And double guard with 2 criticals, 43k. The attack still doesn't go through. Now the final attack of the turn, boosted by Hald. Burning Horn Dragon attacks the Vanguard, 48k. And over trigger, 63k. The attack fails. This is not good. That's the end of my turn. Now it's my opponent's turn. Another Persona Ride. Come on. Persona Riding the Dark version. So lucky. Skill of the Dark. Retiring her own rear guards and retiring. One column of mine. Calling rear guard Catus. Alright. Here comes Drilling Angel for 20k. So I guard with Terahime, 23k. Attack blocked. And the Chink, safe. Now that's 23k from the Vanguard. Perfect guard with Twin Buckler Dragon. Perfect guard skill, I'm discarding for the cost A. Ardor Hatchet Dragon, discard. And block. First check. No trigger. Perfect guard. Lucky draw. And deck out. I win. That was a pretty close match, but I got to try the new cards in the deck and use them pretty well, I guess. So I got win, double trigger, attack 40,000 more power, perfect guarded, drew an over trigger, did a Persona Ride, 10 turns passed, did a superior call, retired 5 or more opposing units, and drew 3 or more times in 1 turn. I got 2,800 VP, total 35,475 VP, pressing A to go next, leaving the fight and returning to fight menu. Back at the fight menu, leaving fight menu, going back to main menu. And we're back at the main menu, going to edit deck menu. And with that, the deck has been built, card request explained, and I just finished testing the deck out in front of you. So, first I want to say is, thank you to the viewers watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show your support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my videos and channel. And at that I say, goodbye and